that I can't remember the name of, but I think it actually stars Negasonic Teenage Warhead from the Deadpool movies and Alexandra Shipp, who plays Storm in the X-Men prequels. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what the title was, but I thought that was also called The Final Girls. But I guess not, unless they share a title.
Maybe.
It can happen. Right, I
Mm,
have started
Uh,
recording, by the way.
okay.
Hello there.
Hi, everybody.
Well, hello, young ones. How are you?
We're good.
Tragedy Girls. That's what we're called.
How are you? Tragedy. Yes.
I mean, like, sometimes you need a bit of tragedy in your life, I suppose.
I
I
guess so,
suppose. And then there's the song with tragedy that I don't want to sing.
That is absolutely fair. So, now that I'm done fiddling around on my end, how are you two?
We're
Good.
good.
Can't complain.
Wunderbar.
Well, I mean, I can.
I suppose we all need a little bit of a complaint here or there, don't we?
I mean, it's
Why?
2020. It's basically the year to vent.
Yep.
All that pent-up aggression is finally coming to the surface.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So what
how
have
are
you
you
do?
doing?
Jinx.
I am good. Very, very good. Yeah, just been figuring out a nice template for us to use, maybe. We'll see. After we've done recording, I will screen share it on Discord so the two of you know what it's like when
Cool.
I
Sounds
publish
great.
it, so that you guys won't be like, oh my god, what did he do? It's terrible, or anything like that, so... Yeah, that's something we'll do afterwards. But
Cool.
yeah, aside from that, not too bad. Just been working, writing, and watching things. So yeah.
Nice.
Now, what have you guys
So,
watched?
I was about to ask that. You beat me to it.
I try.
Rude.
It's a gift.
Mm. I watched the 2018 Halloween finally the other night, and I thought it was alright, but I was just a bit like,
Oh yeah, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
yeah, I was a bit like, it's gonna end already, whereas like not that many people had died, so I was like, this is a bit crap. Okay.
Like, I get what you mean. Like, the kill count is definitely not the highest, but I think there is a certain satisfaction in the way the people were killed, I suppose.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Like the guy at the
Michael
gate.
Myers.
oh,
Michael
yeah,
Myers is a literal artist. Like,
yep,
just the way with how he's so creative. Like,
I,
he's got an eye.
Oh,
Probably literally, but
oh, so Amy, because
Mhm.
I'm assuming you like the Halloween.
I do,
Okay,
very much.
how do you feel about the Rob Zombie ones?
I don't remember them. I watched them once, and I don't remember them, so obviously they didn't leave an impression.
That's fair. That's fair.
I should probably watch them again.
God,
I
like,
have to be honest. I've my knowledge of Halloween is very scatterbrain. Like I've
there's a few of
watched.
them,
I think there are 12.
including
Might
the
be
Rob
right.
Zombie ones, or
Yeah.
just
So.
mainline.
I could be wrong, but I think it's something like 12. But I know I've seen the original, of course. I've seen Halloween 2, the direct sequel.
Right.
And then I've seen
Season of the Witch comes third,
yeah,
so
yeah. I've seen Halloween H2O 20 years later,
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
and I've also seen the 2018 Halloween film.
oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
So if there are 12, I have watched a third of them.
It's a start. I mean, not all of them are great, so
Yeah.
I guess I at least watched the okay ones.
Yeah, true.
I'm. Go on, Amy.
It's alright. It was just gonna be a little story about Comic Con. I had a friend who dressed up as Mike Myers, and I didn't know it was him. The way I found out it was him is he put his phone in front of me, showing me his Facebook profile. So I went, "Oh, hi!" Turned around and hugged him. He did not talk to me. He just looked at me and did the Mike Myers breathing, and I was crapping myself. I was like, "I'm gonna go now. Bye."
You see, that sounds like completely something that Michael Myers would actually do.
He was the right height and everything. It was horrifying.
Like,
That's
that
very
takes
good
method
cosplay.
acting to a new level.
Oh yeah, he was like, I've not taken this mask off for ages, and he was just texting me very rarely.
I mean, everyone needs a hobby, I suppose.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of in the original Halloween where he puts the sheet over his head
Oh yeah.
and pretends to be the boyfriend.
Yeah, with the glasses and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
He does that in the Rob Zombie one as well.
Oh,
Although
wow.
there's quite a
Yeah.
bit of profanity in there as well, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I love how they did a callback to that where they just had one of the victims covered in a ghost sheet, and the cop pulls the ghost sheet off, and it's just someone dead under there. But I was like,
That's true.
I was fully
Yeah.
expecting Mike Myers to jump out
Wait.
and get him, and I was like, disappointing.
That was in the black kid's house, isn't it? The babysitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that kid. He was cool.
Now that
know.
I'm remembering, the babysitter who dies is actually one of the teenagers in Marvel's Runaways TV series.
Not watched it.
No, I've not watched it either. I meant to. Just forgot.
I watched the first season.
Any
I
good?
enjoyed it for what it was. I especially liked the parents in the group. Like the kids' parents, who are the supervillains of the show. I guess you could call them supervillains. No, they're part of an evil organization. And
Acme.
I thought they were pretty great. And one of the members of that group is James Masters from Buffy the Vampire fame,
Oh.
Smallville, and of course Dragon Ball Evolution.
The masterpiece.
Exactly.
My
Of
god.
course.
What a film Dragon Ball Evolution was.
It was a film. You could
I
call
watched
it.
it one time.
Do you know what? I've actually
Same.
seen it a couple of times, and it's been funny every time.
Oh, I laughed at it a bunch, but I was just like, this is terrible. You go in the
God.
trash pile.
Like, I love the fact that Goku just is able to power up when he gets horny for Chi-Chi.
I know, that was
It's
terrible.
like, what the? Oh, fair enough. Everyone needs motivation, I guess.
I was like, so that's how it works. Gotcha.
God, I can just imagine him facing off against Vegeta and Frieza, and it's like, okay, time to go on Pornhub. Come on now.
Yeah, just flicking through his phone. Just 1 second.
Almost there. That's how you go Super Saiyan.
Oh dear.
Do you know the way that you've talked about in the past that you think that the M. Night Last Airbender movie is an adaptation of the stage play?
It is the most accurate The Last Airbender film we could ever hope to get, yes.
Do you think that is the case for Dragon Ball Evolution?
I can believe that.
In the sense that it's like an adaptation of a rubbish play based on the characters from Dragon Ball.
See,
Yeah.
I would be totally up for that explanation. It's just that we never saw the play, so I have to leave it to conjecture.
I mean, that's fair.
Or, this is going a bit too deep into Dragon Ball. Like, not that I'm the biggest Dragon Ball fan, but Satan is an in-world wrestler who does, like, performances and stuff. Like, this could be, like, the crappy little Goku tales that he made for his wrestling show or something. I don't know.
Good.
Uh,
Oh, that sounds like a pretty fun idea.
so what
How
have
about you? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go on.
I was just going to ask, what have you watched over the past week?
Oh, I watched whatever the name is, Holmes.
Enola Holmes.
Yeah, that one.
Holmes.
And funny enough, I actually found out about Miss Sherlock, which is a Japanese HBO original.
Ah,
That's
Oh.
been pretty interesting as well. So, yeah, I'm on episode 4 now, and there's only 5 left. So, yeah, been very thoroughly enjoying that show, actually.
that's good.
Cool.
I guess we'll talk about Enola Holmes in a bit.
Yes.
Um, but I just want to highlight two films that I watched this week from Dylan's recommendation.
Ooh.
And they are two dog-related films
Hooah.
Always good.
with very different, very different color palettes, very different types of stories, and they were both interesting in their own right. The first one was Alpha, which came out in 2018 and starred Cody Smith-McPhee, who also is young Nightcrawler in the prequel X-Men movies. And I thought that was a pretty good film, stunning. I loved the relationship between the boy and Alpha. I thought that was really nice. And I was actually quite surprised by how much I really enjoyed it because I didn't know what to expect with it. And then the second one was The Call of the Wild, which came out earlier this year before the pandemic, starring Harrison Ford. And I enjoyed this one less than I did Alpha.
Like,
It was a bit
Alpha is the superior film. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I just thought there was like a weird tone with The Call of the Wild. I don't know what it was. Whether it was the way that I was trying to be sincere between the relationship between Harrison Ford's character and Buck, or
And
the way
that's,
that I had this cartoonish villain
I
played
know.
by
Oh my
Dan
god.
Stevens.
I know,
It,
right?
it was an incredible performance,
Like,
but not in the way I would want it to be an incredible
like
performance.
it's up there with Jupiter Ascending. Let's be honest.
Oh, I couldn't believe what I was watching because I actually really like Dan Stevens as an actor. And just earlier this year, I was shocked by how much I enjoyed the Eurovision film that he was in with Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams.
Oh,
Oh.
don't get me started. I cannot stand that film.
I was
I hate it so much.
I was shocked by how much I enjoyed that film, and a lot of it was down to Dan Stevens' performance in the film.
Oh, I enjoyed him, but every other scene with Will Ferrell in it, I just wanted to scream.
See,
I was
I
just
just
like,
saw Will.
no.
I just saw Will Ferrell and just thought no.
It's one of those where
It's definitely a no.
I enjoyed the film, but it was like Will Ferrell was on a certain level, and then Rachel McAdams and Dan Stevens were both very, very high for me. Like they gave really good performances in the film, and I really liked I really liked two of the songs in that film.
Would
How
it
many
be
songs
Ya
are
Ya
there?
Ding Dong by any chance?
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
I don't know what it was, but every time that came on, I just laughed. And then the other song was the really emotional ballad that Rachel McAdams sings towards the end of the film. I thought that was really nice. But yeah, The Call of the Wild, didn't enjoy it as much as Alpha.
Or, like, also not to harp on just how objectively bad Call of the Wild is, but did you enjoy the breakneck pace that it was going at?
Oh, it didn't stop.
Like, that film was going as fast as Lewis Hamilton on an F1 track, and it just did not stop for any pit stops. It was just going.
It's like I don't want to like spoil the film, but it's one of those where do you really care? Um, but it's like at one moment he's with at one moment Buck is with one person, and then he goes off with another group of people, and then he goes off with another group of people until he eventually ends up in the hands of Harrison Ford, who's been sprinkled throughout the film, and it just kept going.
And they kind of trick you into thinking, oh, we're kind of slowing down with Harrison Ford when they go to the country, but it's like, no, 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 we're still keeping that pace, bro. Let's keep going.
Right to the end of
Like,
the film.
that film, like,
Yeah.
I do like that film, but my god, that film is a bit of a mess. Like, that film felt like the trailer to another longer film.
Do you want to know what's weird, though?
Go on.
As much as I thought that it was such a bit of a lackluster film, in a sense, I still smiled whenever Buck was on screen.
I know, right? Like, it's a CGI dog, but there's so much
Very
emotion
clearly.
behind every single expression that he gives. It's like you just can't help but go, okay, fair enough.
Especially if you're a dog lover. Like, it's just going to appeal to the heart in you.
But it's like, if we're talking about the objectively good film, my god, Alpha, what a film.
Oh, it was really good. I was caught off guard by how good it was.
And plus, done by one of the brothers who did Book of Eli, shockingly enough.
Ooh, I haven't actually watched that one, but that's Denzel Washington, right?
Yeah, with Gary Oldman in it.
Oh,
And Mila
I need
Kunis.
to watch that.
It's a decent little film.
Cool. I'll definitely check that one out.
same.
Oh, but yeah, like, it was really cool because watching Alpha on IMAX, just because of the sheer scope of the visuals, like, I'm pretty sure part of my face melted because of just how beautiful it looked on screen.
I can imagine. Like, I was just watching I was just watching it on a standard television, and I thought that it looked really good. I can only imagine what it must have been like on the big screen.
Like, okay, I have a way of describing Alpha, and David, tell me if I'm right or wrong, because this is just how I describe it. It's the Revenant, but with a doggo.
I can definitely see that.
Okay, good. Because, like, sometimes people give me a weird look. It's like, really? And it's like, it's a weird way of describing it, but it's the best concise way I can do it.
I guess I guess you could say the bear is another animal in the film.
Which film?
Like, the bear from The Revenant
Oh,
is a different animal in the beginning of Alpha.
oh yeah, actually, yeah, true, very, very true. Do you know what? I've got the director's cut of it, and when I was watching it for the first time, I was like, wow, this opening feels really out of place at the start. And then when I watched the director's cut, no, that opening is actually not there. It's like, the actual start is when they were actually carving the spears, and then they go chronologically. So, yeah, it's one of the few director's cut where the director's cut is shorter than the theatrical cut.
And I looked it up, but in the UK we actually got a narration by Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman, the
I
legend that he is.
We didn't get that one, but maybe it was because it's IMAX, but I don't know. Like, we never got a narration.
Ooh,
That's
it was
interesting.
it was on my television when I watched it.
Oh, wow. Like, because I can't imagine what that would be like, because there are so many quiet moments in that film. I can't imagine it with narration.
It was only really at the beginning, and I think it was at the very end. But
Oh,
I think that was UK exclusive.
gotcha.
I believe we were gifted with Morgan
More
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. So it's more like Conan the Barbarian, Jason Momoa's one, than
I
anything.
guess so.
Because he does narration for like the first 10 minutes and just never shows up again in that film.
What if Alpha is in a cinematic universe with Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty and Morgan Freeman is in fact voicing God.
Mind blown.
I mean, does that mean the Shawshank Redemption is part of this cinematic universe as well?
I guess so.
So
If it's
so Morgan Freeman film. Oh my god! Like, and it all starts with driving Miss Daisy.
yes.
So yeah. As far as catching up, like, we're obviously going to be talking about Sherlock in a lot more detail later on, because spoiler alert in case anyone hasn't read the title of this video. But yeah, so I will reserve my thoughts on the Sherlock because that just happens to be what I did end up watching.
Okay.
So yeah, here now we come to Shirley.
Shirley.
So, in particular, it's a Sherlock Holmes performance that we really like, or a Sherlock Holmes moment that we really like, a film that we like. It can be anything as long as it is Sherlock related. So, David or Amy, flip a coin and see who goes first.
Would you like to go first, Amy?
Flip a coin!
Flip a coin, why not?
You don't have to.
I have coin here. Do you want to be heads or tails?
I was joking, but you don't have to. It's
I
fine.
have the coin in my hand.
Oh,
Do
no.
it.
We must do it now.
Okay, heads or tails?
I have this power.
I'll go heads.
Okay. You get to go first.
Woo! Okay. So I had a look through all the adaptations of Sherlock Holmes that I'd seen, and I was actually quite shocked to see that I haven't seen a lot of them.
There's a lot.
There are quite a lot.
But there was only like, I could probably count all the versions of Sherlock Holmes that I've seen on both of my hands. So it's not that many that I've actually seen. But I decided to go with the one that I was most familiar with. And that was actually Benedict Cumberbatch's iteration, the Sherlock TV series. And not to go into too much detail about
go for it. Why
so
not?
far. But it is a show that I very much enjoyed for the first two series. And then it went downhill after that.
It did get a bit strange.
But yeah, it was a show set in the modern day and chronicled the adventures of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson, played by Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Show ran by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss from the time in Doctor Who as well. And I just thought that it was a really clever way to transport the Sherlock Holmes story into the modern day, with the way that they updated some of the stories, updated how Sherlock would get his information, and how you would see his deductive reasoning and how he would solve the mysteries and picking up clues. I found the presentation of the series to be really entertaining, and I always really enjoyed the relationship between Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. I thought Benedict and Martin did a really great job of portraying the characters, even in series 3 and 4, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And then I also really enjoy the supporting cast. Mark Gatiss, the showrunner, is also an actor, so he actually ended up playing Mycroft Holmes. He's not one of my favorite actors in the world, but I thought that he did a really good job as Mycroft. And I love Andrew Scott as Moriarty. And his whole reveal of him being Moriarty in the first place is really well done in the series 1 finale. And Yeah, the first two seasons are really good. They're only 3 episodes long per season, but they're actually like 90 minutes over like a mini movie. I would say for the first two seasons, the middle episode is the weakest of the three. But the bookending episodes of each season were really, really good, especially the finales. And the series 2 finale actually ended with the Reichenbach fall, which was just fantastic. And then when they went into series 3 and 4, they kind of didn't go as well. Um, there was some standout episodes that I enjoyed, like the episode where John Watson gets married, and there was another one in series 4 with Toby Jones as the villain, and I thought that was really well done. But on the whole, as much as I enjoyed the first two series of Sherlock, it never got to the highs of the first two, even with the extra Christmas special, which took place in Sherlock's Mind Palace, and it was essentially what you would expect from Sherlock Holmes, including the Victorian setting. And I enjoyed that aspect of that episode, but it just didn't pan out as well once you get past series 2.
See, I actually very much agree with you in a lot of aspects. Like, I think The Abominable Bride, which was the Christmas special, came out after season 3, didn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah,
I liked
like
it too.
I actually watching The Abominable Bride just made me go, screw Sherlock, I'm not watching season 4. Like, I was like, oh my god, guys, like, is this really a 90-minute long prologue for season 4? Like, come on, because at this point it's been like 3 years since, or 2 3, like an obscene amount of time since season 3. So I was like, fine. But
I completely
yeah,
agree with you there.
Yeah, I agree.
like, I think even the way they revealed, oh, this is how Shirley survived in the start of season 3, I was like, really? Like, you tried, okay. Like, season 3
And
was such a step down.
absolutely, and even the way that I appreciate the fact that they didn't give us like a clear answer to how Sherlock made it out. I would have preferred a definitive answer. But I didn't like how, from series 3 onwards, I really got the sense that they were trying to pander towards fan service with the show, because after the success of the first two series, it got a huge fan base, and I feel as though Moffat tried to um, essentially cash in on the fans' support of the show by doing winks and nods to expectations and hopes that the fans wanted, and I just always felt as though that fell flat for me, and it never reached the highs of series 1 and 2, and I thought where they left it off with the ending of series 4, I thought it was really, 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 really bad.
So what you're saying is I dodged a bullet.
You did.
uh,
You did.
yeah, like after watching, like, I think my dad finished watching it all the way through, but I was like, after that Abominable Bride, I think I'm good. So, because me and my dad, we watched it all together, and it's like, it's the only season we didn't watch together, so it's like, yeah. But
Yeah.
that was such a bad episode, The Abominable Bride, my god. Like,
I appreciated the setting, and that was pretty much it.
like if
I
it
get
had,
what you mean.
like, I would have preferred it to be like a one-off what if episode set solely in Victoria, as opposed to just, oh, it's actually in his mind palace doozies, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Especially
It is a bit
with
like.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was just gonna say it is a bit like it's a bit like a cop out, where it's like, oh, it was all a dream. that level of cop out is what I felt like it was like.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with it being a Christmas special, like they literally could have just left it as like a special event episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the iteration of Sherlock that you like most, I'm guessing, so far?
It's the one that I'm most familiar with.
Gotcha.
Definitely with series 1 and 2. I loved the show, but obviously it went downhill from there. So
Yeah.
um,
So who's your favorite Sherlock?
ooh, it's not Will Ferrell.
Shocking.
I can definitely say that. I forget. I forget what they named the character, but am I allowed to say the Great Mouse Detective?
Yeah, sure, go for it. I don't mind.
The Great
Basil.
Mouse Basil, yeah.
Yes.
And a nice reference to I forget the actor's name aside from Basil. Oh, what's his name? He played Sherlock Holmes.
That doesn't really narrow it down, dude. I'm sorry.
There have been a lot of people who've played Sherlock Holmes.
Basil Rathbone.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
A nice little reference, but I would say my favorite Sherlock Holmes is probably either Benedict Cumberbatch or the Great Mouse Detective.
Good choices.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And a very interesting one as well. I would not have expected you to have gone for the animated version, so yeah, very, very, very interesting. Right, so next, what we have is we have the Emmy.
We
What?
have the me.
What is your, well, most familiar slash favorite version of the Sherlock adaptations?
I remember really enjoying the Robert Downey Jr. iteration. Although I do have some problems with the films, like some of the actors obviously are American and you can hear their American accents coming through, but that didn't really bother me too much. Like I really like Robert Downey Jr.'s like version of him. Because it's sort of, I don't know, I just really enjoyed any scene that he was in because he just sort of gave the character some energy that I hadn't really seen before because I used to watch like old Sherlock Holmes films with my mum when I was a kid and stuff like that. So for me, it was like, ooh, this is a new version I've not seen before, kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
I remember seeing it in the cinema and I was really like enjoying it, but I remember kind of not enjoying the mystery in the first Robert Downey Jr. version so much because I don't know, it just felt, I don't know how to explain it. It felt not
I thought it
not
was
very
underwhelming
good.
personally.
Yeah, underwhelming.
Like especially when you compare it to the second one. I love the second one.
Yeah, it's so good. Like the second one's got like a massive plot to do with like Parliament or something, hasn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah, and then Moriarty is just doing all sorts to create
Jared Harris.
See, I think that's why it wasn't as good in the first one because Moriarty wasn't even there. So like none of the characters really were much of a match for Sherlock.
I can see what you mean there. Even when you have the talent of Mark Strong as the villain. But
like
I can definitely see what you mean.
I can see what you mean there, but conversely, I'm glad they didn't get off the boat with Moriarty because like at the same time, as fun as it might have been to have him in the first film as opposed to waiting for the second one, I feel like that would be the equivalent of blowing your load a bit too early.
Yeah,
because...
I feel like sorry. I feel like it did a really good job of setting Moriarty up, so that's kind of why I wasn't too bothered about the story. But I think if they hadn't have set Moriarty up as well, I'd have been like, nah, I don't like it.
Like, from what I Oh, sorry.
Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, from what I remember of the first Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes film, aren't there brief hints towards Moriarty? Like, isn't he in the
There are
shadow?
bits and bobs, yeah.
Yeah, he's very much hinted at a lot, and he's kind of tied to the. I can't remember I think her name's Irene Adler.
Irene Adler, yeah.
The female interest. Yeah, he's very much tied to her. And I was absolutely devastated in the second one when she wasn't in it as much. I was like, no, I love Rachel McAdams. Why?
I mean, like, as far as an inciting incident goes, like, what more reason do you need? You know, it's like, oh,
I suppose so. Yeah.
you killed the Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good scene, and it was like I don't feel like they did the character dirty or anything. I was just like really sad because I enjoy watching her in anything because she's just such a good actress.
Oh, I love Rachel McAdams. I remember when she was cast in Doctor Strange. I was so excited for her to be in it, and then I was just kind of disappointed that she was just a standard love interest in the film.
Yeah, it makes me sad because I genuinely forget she's in that movie.
Same. I think about Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, Benedict Wong, and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
What about Mads Mikkelsen?
You see, I love Mads Mikkelsen, but it's like pre-Thanos and Killmonger Marvel movie villain.
Like, he is a bit of a wet fart in that film, I will give you that.
Oh dear.
I like Dormammu.
Oh my god, like, that scene is... like, I love that scene because of just how much of a meme it is.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
It's like, oh my god, you annoying human, just leave me alone. I don't want your planet anymore.
Yeah, I love the fact that he literally just annoyed him to defeat.
So he basically Sherlocked him.
Yes. I also
you know what? I really appreciate that about the film.
Yeah. I was also disappointed when they had two actors that have played on screen Sherlocks, and not one of them said no shit Sherlock. I'm very sad.
And
they missed an opportunity.
As of Captain Marvel, there are both Watsons in.
Oh my god, yeah.
As well, because Jude Law, who we haven't
Oh my
mentioned
god, yeah.
Is the villain in Captain Marvel.
Wait, we got both Sherlock Holmeses in there then.
Yeah, we got both Sherlock Holmes.
Oh my days.
We got Robert Downey Jr., obviously, and then Doctor Strange in the same movie together, didn't we, at one point?
Yeah.
And then
literally sharing scenes together.
Yeah.
Oh, that is insane.
We need to get a movie with Jared Harris and Andrew Scott, and then we can have the two Moriartys as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I will say my favorite iteration of Moriarty is definitely in the Sherlock show.
Oh, he's so good.
Like, I just love him. Good. He's a lunatic, and I love him.
He's absolutely crazy.
He has Joker energy.
He definitely does. I have no doubt that Andrew Scott was inspired by... I don't know whether it would be Heath Ledger's Joker, but you could definitely make that case.
Oh, I have a worse iteration, if it's okay if I get that out of the way now.
Go for it.
Sherlock Gnomes.
Oh,
please go away.
I keep forgetting about that.
Mikey really loves it, and I'm like, you're a kid, it's fine. For me, though, I'm just like, no.
Dylan, I referenced
Holmes
and Watson. Amy referenced Sherlock Gnomes. You've got to pick one out of the bad pile.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, well, we'll get to that eventually. My God. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, David. You absolute heathen. Okay, so moving on from that, Amy, same question as David. Who is your favorite Sherlock?
I think I'm gonna go for Benedict Cumberbatch because I enjoyed him the most.
And how come that is the case?
I don't know. I just like the modern version. Like, I feel like it's spot on. That's how Sherlock would be in the modern day. Like, he'd just be
I
like, I'm
completely
smarter than the
agree.
police. Screw you guys. I know what I'm doing. And just completely not follow the rules. Like, it explains exactly why he wouldn't be a detective, because he's just like, no, I'm gonna go do it this way. Bye. And I just really enjoy that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think I think we're unless we count my the Great Mouse Detective Sherlock, I think we're 2-1. Unless
Yeah.
you also choose Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh god, yeah, that is true, isn't it? Both of you picked Benedict. Ooh,
Mm.
interesting.
I mean, you're the host. You can cancel us out.
This is true. I have admin powers.
Oh no. Who decided that was a good idea?
I did.
Dylan.
Sounds about right.
Yes, I am the great dictatorial.
So what say you, Dylan?
Right. You know what? As I'm going to pick something that really made me fall in love with Sherlock Holmes and
Cool.
the various stories involved. And this is a show from back from my teeny weensy years.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick the cartoon Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
That sounds cool.
That did sound cool, and I'm sad I
Like-
missed it.
Like this was something I was watching when I was like 7 or 8, and like it's so cool because like Sherlock was like Sherlock essentially got Captain America and got iced,
Nice.
and basically Watson is a human cyborg he's essentially cyborg and he's helping Sherlock.
Nice.
And Moriarty is in ice as well, and he got revived. So the entire series is just
This
Sherlock.
sounds very Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, like when things got like it's been about nearly 20 years since I've seen this thing, but this show was like so interesting because like it's a futuristic world, and then you got a fish out of water story with Sherlock, and then Watson helping him acclimate, but then Sherlock still being Sherlock,
Yep.
and just solving mysteries left and right while Moriarty is planning world domination. It was great.
That sounds really cool. I'll have to check that out sometime. Like
Yeah.
a little clips on YouTube.
We have to hunt it down. Have a look.
Yeah, like I managed to find the opening of it, and it is so low res, it is mental.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Like this show is an antique no one remembers except for me anymore.
I feel as though that's always the way. Like, there's always one cartoon that you will remember, but no one else around you can think of it. Like, there was
Yeah.
one show that I used to watch. I think it was called something like Archie's Mysteries.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never heard of anyone else ever knowing of the show.
I used to watch it around the same time I watched this.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm not sure if it's the same Archie's Mysteries, but there was definitely a cartoon with Archie's.
There's another person who knows of this.
Yay! I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, no.
I feel like I had a deprived childhood because I didn't even get to watch Buffy when it came out, and I'm sad.
I mean, neither
Don't
did I,
worry,
so...
only watched two.
But yeah, that is... I mean, the reason why I picked is probably not my favorite iteration of Sherlock, but it is the version of Sherlock that got me into the series and made me love the character, so that's why I picked it. If you put a gun to my head and ask me which is your favorite Sherlock, like, because of just how much I love Book of Shadows, it's probably because of that for pure entertainment value. Like, oh, not Book of Shadows, Game of Shadows.
I was
Like-
gonna say, Book of Shadows is
That's
something
Blair
different.
Witch. That's the Blair Witch
Yes,
sequel, which
yes.
is
Yes,
very
it is.
different. Shadows are involved. Oh, on the topic of good Sherlock, there is actually an anime called Kabukicho Sherlock, and it is the most insane version of Sherlock I have ever seen.
Cool. I gotta go watch it.
Like,
Very nice.
okay, so Watson is a doctor, Sherlock is a detective, we're all fine up until that point. Now,
Okay. It's pretty
we come
standard Sherlock Holmes.
we come to Mrs. Hudson,
And
and
the anime.
it's Mrs. She's still the landlady, but
Okay.
in this show, she owns a pub in
Okay.
the red light district,
Oh
and
no.
she
Oh,
is
no.
also a drag queen.
Oh my god, that's so
a mid
cool.
a mid-30s man who is a drag queen, with full beard and everything.
That's freaking cool.
You know, that kind of reminds me of something that they do in Holmes and Watson.
Oh Jesus, no!
Do you want me to say it, or do you
Yeah,
want
please
to...
do.
I do not care about spoilers. I was
Yeah.
never gonna watch that film.
Neither was I. So
Because I'm quite happy not talking about Holmes and Watson, but if you want me to talk about it...
it's
For
your
anybody
choice.
who is bothered about this film, spoilers.
Okay.
I don't think
just be
anyone
nice.
was. But
So essentially, you have Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly playing Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, and then you have Kelly MacDonald playing Mrs. Hudson. Well, Kelly MacDonald, who is playing their landlady, is also very promiscuous. She's sleeping with lots of people who just come into their house to have their mysteries answered by Sherlock Holmes. And it's a constant running gag throughout the film, and what you said just kind of reminded me about it.
oh, fair. I'm glad that this really cool anime reminded you of that.
I'm sorry that
It's
I
okay.
ruined it for you.
It's cool. And you know what? One last thing about Kabukicho Sherlock, which is kind of cool, is that, you know, in every detective show, it's like you got that ending part where he reveals this is how it happened.
Yeah.
So in this, he basically does like a one-man play to say everything. So he does it in the style of Rakugo, which is like a Japanese one-man play,
Oh,
where
cool.
the one person is the narrator and all the characters simultaneously, and he just does that to explain everything, and it's just a ride.
That
That
is
sounds
so
great.
Sherlock.
I know.
That is so Sherlock.
But yeah, like if anyone is into anime and they're into Sherlock, Kabukicho Sherlock is definitely one to look out for.
Nice.
Well, I'm definitely going to be watching that.
You are very, very welcome.
Thank you.
For just because, like, right now I do have Holmes and Watson because you started talking about it, so now I'm just going to quickly switch over to Kabukicho Sherlock just so that I don't have to keep looking at Will Ferrell's face.
Nice.
So nothing like, well, I'm sure he's the nicest guy in the world. I just cannot stand him in films.
No, I hate him in films. And I'm sorry, Eurovision was just basically, how many people can I offend in one scene?
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oy, oy, oy.
I mean, I know comedy's subjective, but come on. Get some better material.
Yeah.
It's like I said, Rachel McAdams and Dan Stevens were the things holding that up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So okay, David, I'm going to give a wild guess and assume Holmes and Watson is your least favorite Sherlock property.
Yes.
Okay, and I think we've already established why.
Can I also just say,
Please do.
How do you waste the opportunity to have Ralph Fiennes as Moriarty?
Oh my god, I forgot that.
What? Really? Oh no. I'm definitely not watching this film.
Oh, I remember watching it and I was just like, oh my god.
You know what's the first thing I thought of just now? I was just thinking that Voldemort was going up against Ricky Bobby. I would rather watch that film.
Fair
Same
enough.
here, that would be pretty interesting.
If you ain't first, you're last. And then Voldemort just kind of obliterates him. So, in that case, Ami, what is your least favorite Sherlock property?
It would have to be Sherlock Gnomes because just why? Why does this thing have to exist? It's just awful.
Romeo and Juliet do well.
Do you know
Romeo
what?
and Juliet was fine.
I didn't mind
Sherlock
Romeo
Holmes,
and
though.
Juliet.
Yeah, I
still
didn't.
haven't seen it.
I didn't mind Romeo and Juliet, but Sherlock Gnomes is just why does this thing exist? Awful.
Do you want to know
Like-
what makes me laugh? I say I still haven't seen it, as though I want to see it, but I
Yeah.
really don't.
And one thing I really hate is they just made Sherlock an absolute dickhead towards Juliet in this film. He was basically like a complete dick to Watson, and he's a complete dick to her, and he's basically like, you shouldn't care about people. Logic is better. And I was just like, what a lovely thing to be teaching kids.
I mean, the kids,
Who-
yeah.
Don't care about people.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a teenager, go for it.
I mean, I know that he's a very logical person, but I felt like they just completely took out any sense of, because he's not completely unfeeling, because he very clearly cares about Watson in every iteration. In this iteration, he just treats Watson like a doormat and just like doesn't care about him, and they're supposed to have been working together for what, like years at this point? Because he's supposed to be an established, Sherlock, if you will.
Mm.
And I mean, I know it's a kids' movie, so like, I'm being a bit nitpicky, but it annoyed me because it's like, this is a character that I loved seeing a cartoon version of, and I was like, I feel like this version is just mean, and there's no need for it.
Okay, can I just say something like, I absolutely hate it when people say, oh, it's just a kid's film. No, 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 no. If anything, we need to treat entertainment even better if it's for kids. Their minds are sponges, man.
Cute, and
That's
honestly,
Like,
they're smart enough to like grasp these things. So like, seriously, you don't have to dumb it down for them.
no. Anyone who says, oh, it's just for kids, you just feel like slapping them sometimes.
Yeah.
Who voices Sherlock Holmes and Watson in Sherlock Gnomes out of curiosity?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's
Oh, really?
Sherlock Holmes, and I don't have a problem with Johnny Depp, but I have a problem with him in this role because he's just nasty for no
Yeah.
reason. Like, it's
But-
not even in a fun way. Like,
So you
in-
have a real issue with the writing of the story.
Oh yeah, and the
Yeah.
character. I feel like they butchered his character, and I'm like, this could be a really interesting way of getting kids into Sherlock, and you're not really doing a very good job.
I propose a reboot of Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
You know what? I would be so down for that.
I'd be
after
okay
you've
with that.
described it. You can make it, Dylan. You can make it.
Oh,
I don't have the rights to it, but I will say that you can make that.
I mean,
Yeah.
to make sure that we don't get any copyright, we could just make it Sherlock Holmes in the 23rd century.
Yeah,
Ooh,
sure.
good idea.
Have him going up against the Fifth Element and everything.
Yeah, do that.
It's like Lilu going multi-pass and Sherlock going, that's adorable. Okay. So, okay, I guess it's my turn. Oh my god.
Yep.
It is indeed.
Okay, I've got a very unpopular hot take.
Go for it.
I absolutely hate Sherlock Holmes' iteration in
Wait, what?
the iteration of him in Enola Holmes. Absolutely
Okay.
despise it. I was physically angry watching that film.
Oh my, really?
Like, granted, I haven't seen Holmes and Watson. I have no intention of it. I saw the first trailer and knew it was gonna be bad.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But, Enola Holmes had potential. It tricked me into watching it. How dare it?
Oh no.
I mean, I get it's the purpose of a trailer, but no. Just, no.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like, yeah. Words cannot describe how much I despise that film.
We want to hear the words, Dylan.
I do think they made Minecraft far too mean for no reason.
Minecraft
Absolutely.
was absolutely butchered in this film.
I
My
agree.
god, what? Fennec, go back to the Hunger Games and die.
Sam Claflin's really got into a groove of playing bad guys all of a sudden. Like he's a bad guy in the new Charlie's Angels, and then he was mean in Enola Holmes, and
Wait,
just
he was in
prior
Charlie's
to-
Angels?
Yeah, he was one of the villains in Charlie's Angels.
Oh my god, okay.
And then he was also the villain in the most recent season of Peaky Blinders as well.
Oh, was
Oh,
he?
right.
That would be
Playing a
interesting.
villain that actually reminded me of his Mycroft Holmes.
No.
Oh. See, when you're comparing Mycroft Holmes to a character in Peaky Blinders, you've done something wrong.
Oh my god, like, oh, jeez, no.
Two
Like,
very different things that I
Yeah.
wouldn't really expect to cross over, but they somehow did.
I can just imagine Tommy coming into this Enola universe and going, "Oi, you're a Peaky Blinder."
No, even worse, Arthur.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Can you imagine Arthur in that freaking like ammo deposit in Enola Holmes? Just
Literally, he'd go crazy with it.
Oh, like it's like it sucks because rarely, if ever, have I ever seen Mycroft being given his due. Like, the closest thing is probably the Cumberbatch Sherlock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Stephen Fry does do it well,
he
and
does.
Yeah.
like, he is a very eccentric Mycroft, but he does have the intelligence down at the very least, so I'll give him
Yeah.
that. But man, just Mycroft is just getting absolutely rinsed in this film. I just couldn't stand it because I really like Mycroft as well. Because I've read the books and Mycroft's like, "Oh, Mycroft, you're a good brother," and this film's like, "Oh no, he has no talent." I'm like, nah.
Also, he's like completely sexist towards his mother and sister, and just like, oh, they're just winning with emotions. And
God,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I was just like, get out of here! It's 2020. Why are you doing this?
Like, this is the guy who was maneuvering heavyweights in the political scene. Yeah. If anything, he's probably the one who helped instigate the suffrage movement, just so that change can happen. It probably be to suit him, but still. Oh, just thinking about it makes me angry. At least I can look at Henry Cavill and think, okay, calmer thoughts. And even
Superman.
okay. So Henry Cavill, charismatic, fantastic, really made the film watchable to me. I'm sorry that wasn't Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I didn't get any Sherlock Holmes because I was like, okay, fair enough, but you're being super nice for a Sherlock.
Yeah, and his deductive abilities, that of an anorexic cat. What the hell? Like,
I know.
oh,
At first, I was like, is he deliberately just not being very good at solving things so he can let Enola get further on? Is that what's going on?
yeah, like, if it was like, oh yeah, it's like he purposefully stayed back so that she can learn on her own or something, I'd be like, all right, cool, fine. Nope, it's just Enola is just so much better than Shirley, the girl who's been isolated all her life. clearly
Yeah.
knows her way around London. My God, this makes no sense.
I
Oh,
know. Like, at first I thought they were gonna like really have a like struggle, but she magically just goes, "Oh, I know. I'll go and buy a dress," and she just magically knows how to wear the dress.
oh, can we please address the fourth wall breaks? What the
I
hell?
know. They're
Like,
very weirdly timed.
and like I was convinced that they were in her head, which I was like, okay, fine, sure, they're in her head. But when she's doing the clothes montage, the woman's looking at her really weird while she's like, has she
Yeah.
just been doing this in actual real time? And people have just been wondering why she's not doing anything. What? Oh,
I think in that moment, I think it was because she was just like playing around, which
Yeah.
why?
I'm just saying.
Just so many reasons to... Oh, I'm peeking. I gotta step back. Okay, so...
No.
Like,
Oh no, I'm peeking too.
I do just want to say I saw an article a couple of days back. I don't know whether it's true or not because I haven't seen it anywhere else. But it was like Netflix considering an Enola Holmes spin-off of Henry
No.
Cavill's character,
Oh,
and
don't do
and
that.
and I just kind of thought to myself, wait, you're considering
yeah, because clearly
Sherlock Holmes.
Enola came first, right? Come on!
Yeah, you're considering Sherlock Holmes the spin-off. Okay.
Oh.
No, and to be fair, it is the Enola Holmes film, but at the same time, it was just kind of jarring to see that when I saw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
when did we get to the point when Sherlock is the spin-off character? Like, where?
That's what I mean. I was just kind of looking at it and I was like, that's weird.
Like, if they wanted to, they really could even try maybe doing a gender swapped Sherlock Holmes if it was,
It
to...
exists. It's good.
You could literally go with Dylan's name for Sherlock. Shirley.
Exactly.
Legit, no joke. That's what I have been watching, the Japanese version. Miss Sherlock. It is literally a female Sherlock. It's so good.
I mean, they made a female Watson as well in Elementary.
And Watson's
And I
female
like
in this
Played by
as well.
Lucy Liu.
Exactly. She's really good in that.
Like, legit, both Watson and Holmes in this Japanese show, both of them are female, and it's so good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Ah,
Like, I feel like in order to have Enola be a, like, interesting character, they've gone, right, we'll have to, like, trim down Mycroft and Sherlock a little bit and make them seem not as great. And it's like, you could have still had them be really good characters.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, look at how great Enola is. Do you want to know why she's great? Because these two suck.
And then you've also made a sort of a Mary Sue where she can pretty much do everything.
Okay, let's go. One more thing to address. Can we just please talk about... Okay, you know how in usual crime, not even Sherlock, just basic crime dramas, you basically have, like... You have the setup where you establish all of the information. And then the rest of the show is, or film even, is you recontextualizing everything so that you know where everything is, so where everything is going, and have twists and turns and do all of that.
Yeah.
This, we get a fourth wall break introducing a whole new thing that we never knew she knew about, and hey, it's quirky. Piss off.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Dear.
getting very, very angry right now.
Okay, we need to calm you down.
We should probably divert from this topic, but I
What?
do just want to bring up one thing. Interesting fact about Enola Holmes. It's actually getting sued.
Oh,
Whoa, what for? I didn't know that.
Because in most iterations of Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock he does have some emotions, he clearly cares
yeah, I
about,
remember that
Yeah,
article, yeah.
he clearly cares about Watson, but most of the time he can be a bit closed off, and
Yes.
obviously, like we were talking about, Henry Cavill's version of the character is more open with Enola. And I can't remember whether it was a case of it was closer to the original Sir Arthur Conan Doyle books or whether it completely deviated. I think it was the fact that it was more closely aligned with the originals, which are fully copyrighted.
Oh dear. Bad peoples.
I could be mixing up that information.
No, but, like,
probably should have looked it up, but
hang
I
on.
believe that was it.
Wait.
Dylan's gonna look it up now.
No. Like, because I've
Oh, okay.
read all the original books. So, like,
Ah.
are you saying that they're getting sued because they're too closely related to Arthur Conan Doyle's books?
I probably,
mean-
like I said, I probably should have looked it up.
Because, like, if anything, like, this is, even considering Arthur Conan Doyle's books, like, Sherlock is much closer, I would say, to a hybrid of Robert Downey and Cumberbatch, if anything, from, well, my interpretation when I read it, at least.
I still haven't read the Sherlock novels, so I'm gonna take your word for it, but I really do want to.
But yeah, like, if anything, Henry Cavill is too nice to be Sherlock.
That's what I thought. Like, I thought it was like he's like not seen his sister and mother for like years. There's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah,
He's a closed off dude.
Oh,
But then he's just magically nice to Enola Holmes, and I feel like it's mostly to offset how horrible Mycroft is to her.
which, okay, can we address Mycroft? Just how dirty he was done. Like, in the original books, right? And this is why I love Mycroft as much as I do. Like, he is that older brother who is just, like, pretending not to care, but, you know, deep down, he, like, that's always the feeling I've gotten from him. Like,
Okay, fine.
yeah, Mycroft is the superior Holmes. He is, like, Sherlock Holmes on steroids when it comes to deductive
Yeah.
powers. Like I'm pretty sure this was in one of the books, but he's able to solve any case Holmes brings to him when Holmes hits a roadblock just by sitting on a chair and looking at the evidence.
Yeah, and
yeah.
you can see how annoyed Sherlock gets because they kind of touch upon that in the show, don't they? And he's just like, "Oh my god, shut up, Mycroft!" every time he speaks.
Yeah, and then Mycroft, like, he never gives him the answer. It's like, okay, you've got this clue. Where would that lead to? Like, that's what I love about Mycroft. He helps Sherlock grow and get better in his skill, and that is so cool.
Yeah, that's like ultimate Big Brother goals right there.
Right, so I looked it up, and
Okay.
here's what I found. Right, so this is coming from Metro.
Okay.
I just looked it up. According to the estate, Sherlock's emotional side was a late addition to the character in the books that are not yet public domain.
Oh,
Ah, that makes sense.
that's
So
very naughty.
So I was wrong in the sense that they're not the original Sherlock Holmes, but I was right in the sense that it was a version of Sherlock Holmes that was like under some sort of copyright infringement.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seem like we've talked quite a while about Sherlock now.
Yes, we have.
There is actually one topic that I was hoping to bring up
Okay.
in relation to Enola Holmes.
Okay.
That's fine.
So, despite some of our complaints towards the film,
Oh, those are just some of them. Like,
There are more.
Like,
I
I've-
did like the film.
like, I've actually. Okay, this is the extent I've not liked it. I've pushed back my Last of Us video. I'm doing Enola right now. I'm 5,000 words in,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
40 minutes through the
Okay.
film. this film sucks.
Oh wow.
Like, if you like it, fair play.
I just
Nothing against
enjoyed
that.
I enjoyed Enola's bits. I didn't enjoy the Sherlock and Mycroft. Like I do think they just completely annihilated the characters, and they didn't need to.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well. I enjoyed the pace of the adventure, and I enjoyed Enola as a character in a sense, and I thought Millie Bobby Brown gave a good performance.
That's something I will give the film. Everyone did try, and I did believe Barbie was not the girl from Godzilla. But my god, it made it hard for me to do anything beyond that. Sorry, yeah. It was so hard for me to do anything beyond that. It's just, no.
But it has actually been quite positively received by what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I did give the disclaimer, like, I am definitely in a minority in this. I'm, like, even my parents loved it, you know, so I'm literally the only one I know who didn't like it.
Yeah, I get you. So obviously there might be some talks of a sequel. And I was wondering, seeing as we didn't get a John Watson in the first film, if we do get a sequel, and if Henry Cavill does return as Sherlock Holmes, who would you like to see play John Watson?
Ooh.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's who I would like to play Watson, and there's who the film is going to get to play Watson.
Yeah.
Which I think are going to be two very different answers, because based on the tone and messaging of this film, I have little doubt it's going to be a woman. Regardless of whether she's right for the role or not, it will be a woman.
I can see what you mean there.
Like, then again, I don't know. If they do cast a guy, fair play. And if they do cast one, who knows? It might be a good idea. I mean, hell, Lucy Liu, and we've got the Japanese version, so absolutely, it could work. But I think because of just how strong of a political statement the first film made, I would be surprised if they cast a guy as Watson.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good move, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't really do any harm to him if they still cast him as a guy, like if they are going for political statements, because in order to make a political statement, you don't need to then cast every character as a woman. And it annoys me that people seem to think when you do that, that it's just because, oh, we want more women representation. It's like, you can do that without having to replace every character with a woman.
Like, I would rather, like, if they told me, right, we wrote a character and we cast someone, it can be a guy or a girl depending on how it is written, and I'd be like, okay, cool, that's fine, go for it. I have no issue with that. But if you're saying we are going out there with the specific need of having a woman because it needs to be a woman for this particular version, I'm like, okay, but what if the character is not conducive to a woman in this iteration? What if it's a guy? Like, you're really limiting yourself casting wise when you're just saying woman only. So I hope it's not the case, but based on this film, I feel like that's the case. So yeah, I'd rather they just cast the best person for the job as opposed to what biological traits you were born with.
Yeah, same. Like, that's why I'm hoping they don't do that, because like I say, you don't need to cast every character as a woman if you want more, women representation. There's always, you could make a new character, there's always side characters. There are ways around it.
Like, I'd be down for, a Mrs. Hudson adventure.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd be really
it's like
interesting.
Her having to deal with these two guys just constantly doing crap to her home. It's like, oh my god, like, now that I think about it, like,
that's the real spin-off that we want.
Like,
how I would watch the heck out of that.
A day in the life of Mrs. Hudson as she just experiences Sherlock just shooting her wall for target practice and playing the violin at 3 a.m. Just what are her thoughts?
Finding heads in fridges.
Oh yeah. Or just be like, oh, what are they doing now? And she's just been sat there like trying to drink a cup of tea or something, and you just see a bullet fly through the wall, and she just ducks because she's just used to it at this point.
Or smashes the teacup.
Oh yeah, it just smashes the teacup as she's about to drink it, and she's just like, I'll go and make another one.
Or
Or
it's
something.
like the scene in The Amazing Spider-Man where Spider-Man and Lizard are going through the library and Stanley's got his headphones on. It will be something like that
Oh god, yeah.
where Sherlock and John are fighting some criminal in their apartment, and then Mrs. Hudson is just
She's just jamming
if it's
out.
like if it's like the modern iteration, she's also got headphones on and she's just listening to music.
Yeah, I really want them to have her listening to like death metal or something.
Straight on Iron Maiden / Metallica.
Yes. Or Slipknot or something.
Oh god, yeah. Or Disturbed or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. You just have let the bodies hit the floor while they're like fighting in the background. Oh no.
Or if you're just going, yeah, or maybe even like Down with the Sickness or something.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh dear.
God, I want to watch this Mrs. Hudson film now.
Can we
Same
just
here.
make it?
Oh, that would be fun.
It would be fun to make
Um,
that.
Well, we
Maybe
already
we-
know the first cast member.
Yeah. Well, we'd have to maybe change her name so we don't get sued.
I mean, Mrs. Hudson's in public domain, isn't she?
Is she? I
I
don't know.
think she is.
I would be down to make a film about Mrs. Hudson. It'd be really cool.
But okay. Oh, also, one more thing. Amongst the many things that annoyed me, that forced pseudo romance that they got going on. It's like,
yeah.
oh, they both like each other, but they can't be with each other.
Why? Why
Oh.
can't you just have them be friends?
Yeah, like Blade did it. It's cool. A guy and a girl can be friends. It's fine.
And you know,
Oh.
they're always like, oh, why do we have to have any, like, you know, LGBTQ plus romances? Because everything is made into a straight heterosexual romance, and it doesn't need to. Urgh. Sorry, I feel very strongly on this.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've been pretty vocal so far in terms of like I know I peaked my microphone a few times, so
Oh, I did too.
like this
But
entire
yeah.
this entire time I've just had a picture of Henry Cavill and like Finnick being very perturbed just on the screen. So yeah.
Yeah. It does annoy me though when films force any kind of romance. Like, I'd be annoyed if it was a forced LGBTQ romance as well. Like, if it's just forced, why is it there?
Yeah,
You
like
don't need it.
and plus this film it's not exactly taking its time. It is going at 100 miles an hour. Like,
Yeah.
my god, dude, just chill out. You can take one thing out of this film. Also, now that I think about it, okay, so we start off with the mother's case. Fine. 40
Yeah.
minutes in, we switch to the boy. And we don't get anything for the mother until the end. What a mystery. What the hell?
Did the final scene ever make any sense?
No. Oh, okay. Right. So, so at the end,
I
Hannah Bonham
watched
Carter
the
just
scene and I was just kind of thinking to myself, why is this here?
yeah,
I
like
didn't actually get to the end, but I don't mind.
like okay.
Ooh.
Seeing as you don't mind, like
Oh, I don't mind.
Helena Bonham Carter comes at the end and says, "Oh, hello, Enola, whatever. Like, I left because I didn't want you to be in trouble. Okay, woman, smartest woman in the world. Why did you leave all the clues leading to you? You absolute ham sandwich. Like, what? What were you expecting? Like, why?" You think that if you
know.
don't want to be found, don't leave clues and money lying around.
Yeah, like, here's some money and here's some clues to where I am. Don't come and find me, though, because I'm worried about your safety. What?
It's
Logic.
and the amount of times people just do not answer questions, like, it's the equivalent of a kid coming up to the mother going, "Hey, what's for dinner?" And the response going, "The sun rises from the north and sets in the east." It's like, what? What? No.
At that point, you'd just be like, Mum, I'm hungry.
Like
Stop giving me riddles for tea. I want food.
there were a few times Sherlock asked a couple of legitimate questions. Oh, the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, it was when he first finds out that what's her face got on the train, and he's talking to the like handmaid or caretaker, whatever, in the mother's room, and she's like, oh, she left money on the pillow. She's got such a good heart. And Henry Cavill's like, wait, she left money? And then it's like, oh yeah, and also you left her. It's like, no, no, no. The money part's important. How did it get there? This is important. Why are we not talking? Oh my god, no. Just no.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Dylan, is you really enjoyed the film.
Yeah. 5 stars, very clearly.
It's you're gonna get a very, very rant-filled video out of it, so...
I'm excited.
Oh my god. Like, do you know what? The Last of Us was broken, but at least it was entertainingly broken. This is just annoying. Like, I'd rather watch Chips again. That's how bad it is.
Ooh.
That's saying a lot.
Because at least in Chips, I have Rosa Salazar and Vincent D'Onofrio.
I mean, he is Kingpin.
This is true. And the bad guy from The Cell.
And Men in Black.
Oh yeah, I forget about that. You forget how many things Vincent D'Onofrio has actually been in.
It was the first thing I ever saw him in.
I think me too, actually.
Same, probably. I don't remember what he looks like.
It's alright.
He looks different in that movie.
Fair.
He looks different in every film, to be honest.
That's true. Like, he doesn't look the same in Jurassic World compared to Daredevil.
This is true.
That's a sign of a good actor, though, I guess.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
don't all look the same.
Then again, you got John Travolta not looking anything alike, but you know it's him.
True.
Right.
Okay, I guess it works for some actors then.
Is there anything else about Sherlock anyone would like to speak about? Positive or negative?
That's pretty much it.
I mean, I had a recommendation.
Oh, go for it.
Cool.
It's not necessarily Sherlock Holmes,
Well,
but
that's okay.
it's kind of inspired by Sherlock Holmes in a way. So back in the classic series of Doctor Who, there's an episode called The Talons of Weng Chiang. And I want to say it's very much kind of inspired tonally by Sherlock Holmes. Like you've even got Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor, decked out in like similar to Sherlock attire, and you've got a detective mystery, and you also have these two, I guess you could call them, sorry, I can't speak. Investigators called Jago and Lightfoot, also involved in the mystery, and it's very Sherlock Holmes-esque, and I'd even go as far as to say that Jago and Lightfoot are kind of inspired by Sherlock Holmes and Watson in a way. And it's a very fun story. I really like it, but it definitely hasn't aged well, because there are some really bad racial stereotypes in the
lovely
in the story. And there's a giant rat prop that really doesn't hold up. But aside from that, it's a really good story from the classic series.
Nice.
Fair enough. Cool. So, Amy, do you have a recommendation at all that you would like to give the dear viewers?
Trying to think. I can't think of any like Sherlock related. I've got one that Robert Downey Jr. is in that I watched recently. It's a film called The Judge.
That is so good.
It's a really good film. I was watching it because I wrote a screenplay and it's set in a courtroom. And I was like looking for, ideas on how to write the courtroom scene. So I watched
Right.
this film and it was really good. Like I really enjoyed it. So basically the plot is just like this guy whose father's a judge and he works as a lawyer, and his father's like a judge in this really like small town rural area. And so he has to go home and deal with a case that his dad's involved in because he's a retired judge now, and they've accused him of murdering someone. So he's got to be his dad's lawyer, but his dad's like refusing to have a lawyer at this point. So it's like a back and forth between like him and his dad. So it's like a really nice exploration of this father-son relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall were in a scene, I was just riveted.
Yeah, it's such a good film.
Well, I mean, I suppose. Okay, so as I'm torn because I could. Do you know what? I'm gonna recommend an anime which
Do it.
deserves so much attention and is just not getting it. There is an anime called Babylon. It came out like
I've heard of it.
it came out last year. Yeah, and it's on Amazon Prime as well. So
Yeah.
hey, but there's a certain supernatural kind of shenanigans going on. But what's really cool is that it's very much a thinking kind of anime where it's like, oh, we gotta find the clues, we gotta see how everything makes sense, we gotta, solve this mystery, we gotta find out what these powers are relating to, and from a philosophical standpoint as well, it's actually really interesting because there is the entire plot basically revolves around the legalization of suicide, which
Oh.
is very, very, what's the word? Complicated?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because, and the entire thing about it is, oh, would legalizing suicide actually decrease suicide rates? And it talks about it in a philosophical standpoint. It's like, if people are given the opportunity, would that in turn limit the amount that would actually cause as far as suicide goes? And talking about it from a philosophical and from a legal standpoint as well, it's like, oh, legally what would happen? And like the twists and turns in it are just absolutely phenomenal, because like the lead character just does not get a break. Like he just gets rinsed left and right when it comes to like I would say, like, I've seen a lot of how shall we call it, extreme material, and
Yeah.
I would say if you are squeamish in any way, I would not recommend it. Not because of like anything violent or how would I call it, like anything shocking from a visual standpoint. No, it's more to do with the implied violence.
Oh, I see.
So
Implied violence I can cope with, but when it's like in my face, sometimes I do really just need to not
yeah,
watch that. It depends on my headspace. Like a lot of the time, I will have to read through a plot to check there's nothing in there, because there's been a few times where I've watched a film and I've literally started having a panic attack, and I'm just like, this is frustrating because as a filmmaker, I want to carry on, but sometimes I'm just like, no, I gotta sit this one out.
yeah, and like that's kind of the thing where it's such an intense scene as well. That's the one time I've actually had to like stop watching the series and just take a shower.
Yeah.
Like it was an intense scene.
Mhm.
So yeah, Babylon, if anyone is
Cool.
interested.
I'll definitely check it out. I want some recommendations after two of you because I am doing a thing this October where I watch a Halloween movie every night.
No.
Please.
Nice.
David's given me quite a few, but you can give me another one if you want.
Okay, right. Like, what kind of Halloween film are we talking?
It could be anything, like horror, body horror, slasher.
Okay, if we're talking like horror, I would recommend a film called The Changeling from 1979.
Cool. Okay.
It's got George C. Scott in it, and yeah, I would argue, I would go so far as to say it's probably my favorite horror film, like from a pure like storytelling perspective. If we're talking blood and gore and having a good time in general, I would actually recommend Rob Zombie's 31.
I've heard of that one. I will
Like,
check that one out too.
31 probably has one of my favorite villain monologues of all time.
Cool.
And the main villain, the main antagonistic figure in the film, is played by Richard Brake, who is Joe Chill from Batman Begins.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, he's in the film, and anytime he's on screen, it is incredible. And plus, 31 has probably the best beginning and best ending I have seen in a slasher in a long time.
Nice. I'll be checking it out.
Sweet.
Thank you.
No problem. Right. Is that us with our recommendations done?
I was just gonna suggest one for Amy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
He's given me a list, but give me more. I don't mind.
So this is kind of just a horror one in general, and I know that Dylan's seen this one.
Oh my.
Or at least I assume he has. And it came out 2 years ago. It is set in France in 1944.
Okay. I'm liking it so far.
It stars Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell.
Okay. I'm going along with it because even I'm not sure at the moment.
I'm just like, I'm not sure if I know this film.
And it revolves around Nazi experiments.
Overlord!
That kind of creates zombies, and yes, it is Overlord.
Cool, I'll check that
I
out.
was thinking of Russell Crowe's son, not Kurt Russell. Oh, no wonder I didn't get it.
I was trying to hold on for as long as I could until you caught on to which one.
It's on Netflix as well. Watch it. It is
Cool,
so good.
I will. I also giggled because there's an anime called Overlord.
Yeah, anime's not bad either.
And fun fact, one of the actors in Overlord is Ian DeCustica. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ian DeCustica. And he is one of the leads in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I thought that was who you meant. The
Nice.
Scottish guy, right?
Yeah, he plays Fitz, one of the two scientists in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I remember that show. I watched season 1.
I've watched up to season 6.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
Wow.
I only ever checked out season 1 as well.
You see,
Years ago.
I watched the first 2 seasons when they came out, so I got to see the glory of Bill Paxton and Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
In seasons 1 and 2, and then I fell off it. But because I've got Disney Plus and I've been bored in lockdown, I decided I'll give the show another go, because it's one of those shows where I keep hearing it gets better, and I thought, okay, yeah, sure, I'm sure it does. And to its credit, I really liked Series 4 with Ghost Rider.
I've heard a lot of people like that
Fair.
season because of Ghost Rider.
That season was really good, and I'm not just talking about the Ghost Rider part. They enter like this. They enter this reality created by an LMD, called a framework, and it's like an alternate. It's kind of like they're trapped inside of a computer that's created an alternate reality where Hydra is in charge of the world, essentially.
Okay.
So some of the and some of the Shield agents, that they've been exposed to this reality, and they now think that that's just their normal reality. So they are convinced that they are, say, a Hydra agent, rather than a Shield agent.
I do
And
remember this show because I think my dad watched it until season 5 or 6 as well, so I'd catch the occasional episode.
yeah, and yeah, Ian DeCuster, I think that he was actually one of the standouts of Agents of Shield. So when he turned up in Overlord, I was really happy to see him in it.
Oh.
And you also have Dylan. I'm forgetting his name.
Oh no.
He's in Game of Thrones.
Oh god, Greyjoy.
Oh, that dude.
You're on Greyjoy.
Yeah, you're on Grey.
Yeah, I'm past Greyjoy. I'm halfway through season 3.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
I believe he plays the villain in Overlord as well.
Ooh.
It's been like a year since I've seen it, but I think I remember him being the villain.
He is a much better villain playing a Nazi zombie in Overlord than he is playing Euron Greyjoy in that abomination of a last season.
Oh.
That is very true.
Oh,
Nice. Thank you for the recommendations, guys.
you are welcome.
No problem.
You know, not really a recommendation, just I was thinking about this while we were talking about crime shows.
Okay.
Like, there's an anime called Id Invaded, and it's, imagine you've got Minority Report, then you combine it with Inception,
Nice, okay.
and you combine it with Sherlock,
Okay.
and all of it just comes together in a 12-episode melting pot of insanity, and it's just so good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that was one that was really interesting from like last year, I think. So
Nice.
yeah, Id Invaded is good.
Speaking of anime, have you seen the Castlevania one?
I'm caught up to it, yes.
I'm still going through season 3, but I'm liking it so far.
Oh, okay, so you're in the
just
latest
started
season,
it.
so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one show that I've really been wanting to get into.
Do you know
It's
what?
very good.
Literally spend 5 hours, you'll be caught up, you'll be in season 3.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
can do
easy
that
to
tomorrow.
binge.
Like, because
I
season
can do
1,
that tomorrow before my lecture.
yeah, like season 1 literally is like less than 2 hours.
Oh, I know. I remember I watched that season 1 and 2 really quickly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The only reason I'm taking so long to watch it is because Ryan wants to watch it, and like a lot of the time I'm like, "Do you want to watch it?" Nah, I don't feel like it today. I'm just like, that's fair.
Is it though? Is it?
And I'm just like, but I want to watch more.
It is really cool though.
I'm kind of like that with Cobra Kai. Like,
Yeah.
I just keep thinking, I want to watch more.
Yeah,
wanna
I'm
watch
like, it needs to come out already. I sat down with my dad and I was like, watch this. And he watched the first like 3 episodes and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and watch this now. And I'm like, you're welcome.
I convinced one of my friends to watch it, and we were just kind of talking about it online as he was watching it, and I was just like, "It's so good, right?" And he was getting into it as well, and it was pretty funny seeing like his reactions to the show, and it just made me want to rewatch the first 2 seasons and anticipate season 3, which is now slated to come out in January.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Woo.
nice. I've still only watched the first episode, so yeah. One day.
One day you will share in our excitement over
Oh,
the show.
God, I hope so, because as it stands, out of everything we've watched, like concurrently, like it's been like, oh, YouTube really liked it, and then there's me in the corner going,
To be fair, it have like opposing points of view, and also that just shows how good friends we are. Like we never get annoyed at each other. Like if one of us doesn't like something.
yeah,
But
it's
I really like
perfectly
that.
okay if one of you are wrong. Yeah, true though.
I think it's really good the way that we can just easily just, although we may not agree with each other's opinion, we completely understand where each of us are coming from, and we always respect each other's opinions.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
me and Amy do.
Oh well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the two of you. Me, on the other hand, I'm the equivalent of Darth
Yeah.
Vader. Me. But
He's like, I will force choke you. Don't test me.
no, because like if anyone was saying, "Oh, I like a film" or "I like a series," I will always be like, "All right, sure, fair enough. I don't like it, but
Yeah.
you do. That's cool." If you're gonna be saying, "Okay, I think it's good," I'd be like, "Oh, okay. I'm very curious why. Let's have a discussion."
Yeah. That's the best way to do it. Like, I don't get people who are like, you are terrible for liking this movie that I don't like, and it's like, why?
It's
Yeah.
just an opinion,
It's a
bro.
film.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's like someone could say that I could have a terrible opinion because I kind of enjoy watching the CW Arrowverse shows, but at the same time, it's like I don't even like I'm not completely invested in them. The type of shows that I just throw on in the background.
Oh yeah, I have tons of those. Like I remember I watched Gossip Girl ages ago
Oh
just
my
for something
God.
to watch, and I
What
was
a
just like,
treasure.
I enjoy this, but lots of people are like, ugh, Gossip Girl's crap, and yeah, it's not aged well, and I'm like, so what?
Tell them
I'm
to
enjoying
piss off. Gossip Girl was a treasure.
They did a reboot, I think, at some point.
Oh God, did they? I didn't watch it. Like,
Yeah,
but
I haven't watched it, but I've heard it's come out, so I'm just like, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm good with where I finished watching it at.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those CW Arrowverse shows where I do enjoy them and I pay attention, but it is one of those things where it's kind of like if I just want to relax
Yeah, I get you.
seriously, like when I watch The Boys, I am completely into it.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Whereas with something like The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow, as much as I enjoyed them at one point, they are the type of shows where I'm like, oh, it's getting pretty late, but I don't want to go to sleep yet.
Yeah.
I'll put an episode on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
fair
get
enough.
you.
Yeah, that's always like I think David, you've noticed, and Amy, I think you have to an extent as well. Like whenever like even when we've spoken on here, I've always said, right, subjectively, like I do know that this is a pile of crap, but I do like it. Like Call of the Wild, it's not good,
Yeah.
but I do like it. But it's like if you're asking me, oh, how do you feel about it? It's gonna be different to whether I can make a good case for whether I think it's good or not. Like my feelings are different from like how I think about it, So
Yeah.
that
I feel
distinction is important.
Yeah, I feel like as a filmmaker, you can't help but sometimes analyze the film you're watching. Like, even if you're sitting down to watch it as just like, I'm just watching this to enjoy it, like, you can't help but notice certain things about it. So you kind of have to have two separate viewpoints. Like, you just have to be like, right, I'm just entertainment and then analyzing.
See, I'm almost there with you there. Like, I would say that because we have studied film and all of that, I would say that when a film does something really well, we'd be more likely to be invested and be there for the story and not really pay attention to the defects, if you would, of the
Yeah.
actual thing that we are watching, because we have that understanding, we've simultaneously got a higher suspension of disbelief when things
Yeah.
do go wrong or not.
Uh,
But when we get over that, we're more likely to be even more invested.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to not really notice things about a story until after I've watched it. And then I'll be like, in hindsight, there are a lot of plot holes in that. But then if it's a film like I've really enjoyed it, I'm like, there are a lot of plot holes in that, but I don't care. I still like the film.
Yeah, fair. Like, I think
I
it
mean,
really.
just look at a film like Avengers Endgame. There are plot
Yeah.
holes.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed
jeez.
it so much.
I enjoyed it, and I was just like, a rat saved everybody.
Like, even beyond the rat, there are some really glaring holes in that film, but at the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
day, it was so satisfying that I was willing to let go of that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I feel as though as filmmakers and also people who are just fans of film in general,
Yeah.
I feel as though when a film does something really right, you end up appreciating it all that bit more because of how hard it is to actually make a good film.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, that's why if anyone ever says like, "Oh, I don't like Lord of the Rings," like, okay, cool, that's how you feel. But if anyone says, "I don't think the Lord of the Rings is good," I'm expecting a thesis of why you think this is the case,
Yeah.
because I refuse to accept that as a standpoint. You
Yeah.
are objectively wrong about that. You're free not to
Yeah.
like it, but you are wrong. It is not good.
Yeah. Oh, it's like with one of my friends said they didn't like Drive. Now, I've not seen Drive, but I mean, the reason they said
See,
they didn't like it was they were like it was boring, like it was too slow in parts, and I'm like, I feel like that's kind of the point of the film sometimes.
Drive is a fascinating film because I appreciate it. I do admire it. It's not something I would say I like,
That's
but
fair.
if anyone were to say, like, it's not a film I would say is bad, but it's not a film I like either.
Like
Because
yeah.
writing wise, it's pretty strong. Performances, music, edit, like all of it as a film, construction wise, it's all done incredibly well. It's just not a film that I was emotionally connected to, so I was like, I don't like it, but this is a pretty good film.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why. And I mean, I completely understand. Like when some films have like super slow scenes, people get bored. But I just love the fact that we've got a scene like that in Chrysalis because I know some people have probably watched that and gone, "Why? Why is she taking so long to
I,
drink a cup of tea?"
I love our ghost story inspired scene.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I do have my reasons on why I was so gun ho about wanting that scene, but it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool that we had it as well, so yeah. And plus, like, in the context of Chrysalis, we just had, like, I don't know, 7 minutes of pure bang, 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 bang story. And it's like, okay,
And then
let's
you just had, yeah.
take a second, marinate, and then we'll go back to bang, 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 bang.
I mean, I like it when films do that because I feel like if it's constantly in your face and it doesn't give you time to breathe, you kind of it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Oof. But, I mean, it's not like we spoke about anything that's very much similar in that regard in this podcast. Now, like, we had two films that were just going at 100 miles an hour. The Harrison
Yeah.
Ford dog film and Enola Holmes.
Yeah.
That's
And
very
I mean, I talked about Halloween, but also that's not really. There's no slow burn points in that really.
I think in the
Or is
2018
there?
there's a few slow burn
Uh,
ones. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I think there's a couple
Like,
where like
then
nothing's.
again,
Oh, like where the bus scene that was quite slow,
like even
even
the
though it was like intense.
like even the opening, like going into the asylum and doing all that, that was a pretty slow scene, but things happened, you know.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I think there was that scene where the granddaughter was walking through the street, and that was a
Oh
pretty
yeah.
slow scene until Mikey comes along.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If anything, I would say that Rob Zombie's Halloween doesn't stop in comparison.
Oh, I watched it ages ago, but I do remember no slow parts really.
Yeah,
I'll
and
need to check it out at some point.
do you know what? I'm one of those people, like, as much as I don't think it's a great film, I do like the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll have to recheck it out.
Like, I have such a high respect for Rob Zombie, man. Like, because I've been watching a lot more videos on him, and it's like, do you know what? Like, even if he's not the best storyteller, the guy puts his all into a film, man. Like, that's something I'll always be
Yeah.
able to respect.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
So, yeah, like, we've come full circle. We started with Halloween and Rob Zombie, and we are here.
And we spoke about a number of different things in between.
God,
Yep.
yeah. I think this is the most I've brought up any anime as well, which is... oh my god, yeah.
It must be giving our lecturers flashbacks to your assignments.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, yeah. Oh, well.
I
I mean,
I'm
are they
actually
even watching these? That's the first question. Because I don't
I
have...
hope so. I hope so.
I like to
like-
think they do.
I mean, I don't have any of them as my friends, so I don't know if they would get whiff of it.
Well, they might do because me and David have them. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
I have Demelza and Keith and Ruth on my Facebook.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So-
I've always felt
You never
weird
know.
having...
Hello if you're there.
Hello, guys.
It's like, I've always felt weird having teachers and lecturers who have taught me in my friends list. It just felt like, no. It just felt awkward, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I
well.
mean, I added them after we graduated because I wasn't too sure if I was gonna come back and do a master's, and now I feel a bit like it'd be rude if I just unfriend them.
Do it. See what they say.
Just like unfriend.
Like, you're a teacher, bro. Can't have that here.
No, sorry.
Oh.
Anyway, I am gonna have to wrap this up because I am currently sharing my microphone with my partner who needs it. So I'm gonna
Okay,
have
fair
to
enough.
go. If you guys want to keep talking, that's totally cool, but I'm gonna have
Um,
to shoot.
Do you know what? What we could do is we could stop this and can you talk beyond the microphone, because then I can show you what I have done through the screen
Yeah.
share.
I can. It'll just be my laptop microphone, so it might sound a bit
I mean,
terrible.
I
at this
wouldn't be
point.
recording that part anyway. It'll just be the three
Okay,
of us.
that's fine. Yeah, I can still talk on the voice chat. I just need to give the microphone over. So.
All right, that's cool. Well, I think with that, it's a good time for us to say adieu, goodbye.
Sorry for the technical interruption there, guys. But yeah.
I mean,
bye,
I think we've
everyone.
covered everything and more, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and the
Thank
links to people's socials will be in the descriptions from now on. And yeah, we hope you had a lot of fun with us and enjoyed the rage outs. So yeah, until next week. So bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.